A couple of days ago, Denmark woke up to the first snowfall of this season. Thankfully, the forecast was on my side that day, and knowing it wouldn't last for long, I took my camera and went exploring snowy landscapes in the backyard of my hometown. An opening in the clouds eventually started to grow until the sky got almost perfectly clear. I visited a couple of my favorite locations to enjoy the snowy scenery and to take some daylight photographs. Unfortunately, snow in Denmark became an extremely rare sight, so I enjoyed myself out among the snow-covered landscapes for the entire day. While I was out during daytime, I was also thinking about a composition that I wanted to photograph later in the evening. As we are getting into the winter season, the visible part of the Milky Way sets very quickly, and I was afraid that I might not have enough time to photograph at different locations during that evening. Even though most of the landscapes weren't fully covered in snow, there was one valley which turned into a winter wonderland. So I thought it might be worth getting back here in the twilight, when the Milky Way would be setting right in the end of the valley. It has almost been a whole year since the last time when I was lucky to experience one of my favorite combinations as an astrophotographer: snowy landscape and crystal clear skies full of stars. As I was entering the valley, which is located just 2 kilometers south from the city of Nykøbing-Mors, I was greeted by the wonderful scene which felt like something taken from a Christmas postcard. The first composition of the night that I started to photograph was very simple, as it didn't require me to take any steps either left or right from the main hiking path. Basically, my idea behind the photograph was to capture the view every local is familiar with, as this area is very popular for hiking and because this is the first scene you get to see when you enter this lovely forest valley. Welcome to the winter wonderland. Like any other time when I shoot nightscapes, I used my old but trustworthy sky tracker. Since the astronomical twilight just had started, the Big Dipper was hidden behind the trees, which you would usually use to find Polaris to polar align your star tracker. In this case, you can do the polar alignment the opposite way, by finding Cassiopeia constellation, as Polaris appears as a bright star right between the Big Dipper and Cassiopeia. Because snow adds a lot of brightness, not just to the landscape, but also to the sky, as it reflects any light source very easily, there wasn't any need in boosting my camera settings. So I went with the standard 30 seconds exposure, f1.8 and ISO 2000, both for the foreground and for the sky, taking 3 horizontal shots. And this is what I got. From the path where I shot this vertical panorama, I saw 3 tiny pine trees, so I got to the top of that hill. The scenery consisted of a dynamic view of the valley closing towards my hometown and a very busy highway bridge. As you might see, there is a decent amount of light pollution, but thankfully it was not a huge deal because the faint part of the Milky Way was rising slightly to the right of the city center. And actually, this is one of the reasons why I prefer living in a smaller town rather than in a big city, because you are granted within access to the billions of stars right from your backyard. Even though I'm a huge fan of shooting the Milky Way's area around the dark rift, I also love to photograph the opposite side of our galaxy's visible part. You have so many cool objects, such as Pleiades, Andromeda Galaxy, and lots of bright stars that look like huge diamonds in the night sky. So I used exact same settings like for the previous image, and with the sky tracked, ended up with this result. So I walked just a couple of meters deeper into the valley, and I found this absolutely beautiful composition where you can see the nice two trees totally covered, well, not totally, but in Danish standards are totally covered in snow, and the Milky Way just goes right in the middle behind the high trees over there. So I think I'm gonna use my 14mm wide angle lens for this composition, and we'll just do a big panorama. While I worked on my panorama, I saw a couple of meteors and even got lucky to get one on video. The sky was still filled with some air glow, creating red ripples in the atmosphere thanks to the gravity waves, and it added some mood to the new photograph. In total, I went home with 3 good photographs, which is 3 times more than I usually plan to create during one astro session. I'm very happy with the results I got from that night, especially because we got another, at least one, cloudy week here. Let me know in the comment section what you'd like to see in my future videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.